Everybody, I am Cooch. Welcome. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and subscribe. This video is going to be a quick history of the Conquest Republic, quicker history of the cemetery, looking at some hilarious epitaphs, plus a tiny bit of history on a few of the people buried here. So first off, we're going to do a brief history into the Conquest Republic, and we're going to start with, in March of 1982, the United States government sent Border Patrol down to the very head of the Keys and blocked everybody in. They checked every car coming and going for illegal drugs and illegal immigrants, treating them like a whole foreign country. They stopped all tourist activity in the Keys. People started canceling their reservations. Community leaders of Key West started to gather around the mayor, discussing what they should do. Tourism is the lifeblood of the Keys, and with each new discussion, succession kept coming up. First, they did go the legal route. They filed an injunction in Miami against the government. The court essentially refused it, taking the Border Patrol back to treating them like a foreign country. When Key West delegation left the courthouse, they were met by a gaggle of world press asking, "What are you going to do, Mr. Mayor?" And Mayor Wardlaw replied, "We are succeeding and going home." Thus, the Conquest Republic was born. So on April 23rd, the Conquest Republic flag was raised over the city hall. Under the command of John Krause, they went forth into the harbor and attacked the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Diligence with water balloons, conch fritters, and stale bread. Yes, you heard me correctly. The Diligence fought back with fire hoses, and thus commenced the Great Battle of the Conquest Republic. Prime Minister Wardlaw surrendered, demanded foreign aid from the United States government, who was embarrassed, and the roadblock was quietly removed, and the glorious Conquest Republic remains. The Key West Cemetery, and a really quick history of them. The Key West Cemetery was established in 1847. There was a huge hurricane on October 11th of 1846. Stephen Mallory, the port inspector at the time, said the effects of the hurricane were terrible because the town graveyard on a high sand ridge on the southern part of the island was entirely washed away, and the dead were scattered throughout the forest, many of them lodged in the trees. Basically, the hurricane destroyed the cemetery and the dead buried there. So in 1847, they purchased a 100-acre lot near the center of town, also on the highest points of the island. Over time, it grew to 19 acres. The varied artistic styles and burial methods are evident throughout. Monuments were shipped to mark the graves of the wealthy and prominent. Locally produced grave markers of brick, cement, or tile marked the others. Each element on the grave also has a meaning. Many symbols provide insight into the person's career, family life, participation in the community, and personal sentiments. And this is a full list of the different meanings of the symbols on the gravestones. You'll see an anchor a lot. That means hope. Wreaths are eternity. Roses are love. Let's see, and the others were listed there. This one, Sir Peter Anderson, is probably one of the most famous and most seen. It's a big conch shell. On it, he says he had fun. I'll show you that in a second. I just wanted to show you some different views of the conch shell. That was me driving into the cemetery, and then I got a few other pictures, and then this one I actually took offline because I didn't walk up and get that clear of a view of it. And you'll see on the bottom of the front side of it towards the road where it had the epitaph. But it's a huge conch shell, and I guess he's underneath. And here you'll say Sir Peter Anderson was the Secretary General, and he had fun. Allendale Wilcox, if you're reading this, you desperately need a hobby. This dude looks so fun. It says, "Don't grieve for me, for now I'm free." But he looks like he's a big party. Golly, the lifelong sponger. This is hilarious. I wonder if he chose that. And you know, this woman, to have a school bus on her gravestone, must have really loved her job and was the best ever. Mr. Romer holds the record for the oldest living person in Key West. He was 108 when he died. On his tombstone, it says, a good citizen for 65 years. He also served in the War of 1812 as a privateer. This one, the record shows, I took the blows, but did it my way. And now we have a little boy fishing, carved on top of the tombs. And this next one is the oldest tombstone. It comes from the original cemetery. It's very hard to read, but it's, from the original cemetery, James Johnson. And now these columns I thought were just beautiful, with an angel on top. It's so cool for a husband and wife. This is a murder-suicide perpetrated by Mr. Griffin. And I really liked this one too. I mean, these are beautiful. It must, in 1907, it's marble. They must have been so inexpensive. I have no idea what the little brick house is for. And then I just thought these curtains were so well carved into the cement. Now, this cemetery features just family plots, but this is for the first millionaire in Florida, William Curry. He was born in Turtle Cay, Bahamas, came to the Keys, first millionaire, and that is his tomb. And then they also have a mausoleum up in front of it that you can pray. And that is the Curry Mausoleum for the Curry family plot for the first millionaire. And now I just thought this tree was really cool because I don't know if it's more than one tree or if it's one tree that grew into more than one tree. I have no idea what's going on here, but it's just a really cool looking tree. And it's obviously really old. And here I just thought that was a pretty view. Captain Outrageous, Norm Taylor, better known as Captain Outrageous, was Key West pop artist. People go by his grave all the time to leave mementos, especially beads that he would love. And you can see they've adorned beads all over the top of the angel. Sometimes it gets so covered you can't see the angel. His original signature, Captain Outrageous, is there on the bottom, as you'll see. And then people leave stuff at the bottom, little coins. This was him on a cover of a Key Western magazine, and some of his pop art. He had a fascination with bikes. I love this painting. I think it's really cool. It's like light bulb skull heads and a bike. He made this bike too, and it sits as art in front of the Schooner Wharf Bar. Schooner Wharf Bar. And then this truck, he made all the graphics on it. Trafficking in Art. Looks like he drove it in some Key West parades. And then this you can actually buy on Etsy, and I think that is so cool. That is the top of his tombstone. Now, the Otto family plots are very well known because they have their 4 family pets buried here. One is a key deer and the other are dogs. That's a view of the whole family plot. It's gorgeous. Now, here's the little deer. Its name is Elfina, and she's at the feet of them. So the key deer held a very valuable spot in their hearts. And there we have little boy Otto, a beloved pet. His beautiful little spirit gave greater happiness to all who knew him. Gave greater happiness to all who knew him. This Yorkshire Dairy Otto, little Dairy Otto, this little life was gentleness and love. And my favorite, Sonny Otto, his beautiful little spirit was a challenge to love. I love that. And this one has Darling Vivian carved in it. I mean, this just warmed my heart. We have a police officer who died in the line of duty. There's a couple of plaques for her being Employee of the Month and different things, but so much love for her and the way people have come and adorned her grave with so many mementos, and she must have loved cactuses and butterflies. There's a carved elephant, and here's a picture frame, and there's one of her rewards laying there, along with, there's her nameplate for her desk, Miss Ellie, flowers. It's just beautiful. And then here's another award for her and her hard work as a police officer, and being lost in the line of duty. Thank you. Archibald Yates, little is known about him, but the top of his tomb has a bound woman, and nobody really knows why. They don't know anything about her, but it's a carved statue of a bound woman. His name is Archibald Yates, but he has 4 first names, I believe. Archibald John Sheldon something Yates. There's going to be a close-up here in a moment. But this statue is, I don't know, it's intriguing. It's intriguing. And there's also two smaller ones at the foot of the grave, as you can see, with a whole picture of how it looks. And that is Archibald John Sheldon Yates from 1911 to 1966. I found that interesting, haunting. And then they have some unmarked graves that people pay the fees for maintaining the plots. And this is an example. They put a little plaque there with a dove and just said it's from an anonymous donor. So the anonymous donor just maintains the fees to take care of things and keep it looking nice, as people do all over the cemetery. And there's some other ones. Now, the brothers McMillan, they were killed in a dynamite explosion. I don't know if they were on the job or what. Actually, I think they were on the job because I think they were building the highway. So yeah, the big highway in the Keys. Conks always crawl home. I love this. And I just thought these were beautiful carved marble stones. Captain Ulrich Eugene Sweeney has first of the Key West pitchers and last of the big-time wreckers. He salvaged over 400 shipwrecks in his lifetime living in the Keys. Nickname was Bubber. Kermit Shine Forbes was Ernest Hemingway's sparring partner in the 1930s. And somebody has a sticker on here, one hell of a man. He was a very loved man. And that is him along with Ernest Hemingway. And here we have a father and a son, World War I and II, along with a wife and a mother, buried in these plots. And then the Robert Russell Mausoleum is probably the most famous part of one of the most famous parts of the cemetery. And we have Gloria, who is just resting her eyes. And I love that because it reminds me of my mom, who always said that. And then B.P. Roberts, I told you I was sick. And she was known as the local hypochondriac. And I just love the sculptures of the cross and the carved cement. The angels, it's carved cement and marble. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. Carrie Lee Allen, Robert Lee and Emma Albury with The Great Teacher. And here we have some books as the headstones. I believe that these symbolize knowledge. So those are really cool looking. I saw a lot of them in one particular section of the park, or the cemetery park. And here we have some just other cool columned gravestones and different things. And General Abe Sawyer, he was only 40 inches tall, and he requested to be buried in a full-size coffin. I guess the coffin is underground because they put them underground and then they stacked them on top of each other. So we couldn't see his full coffin anyway, poor guy. And then we have a captain here with the anchor, which symbolizes hope, I remember. And I love that one. There are iguanas all over the park. You can just be walking up and down. You'll hear a bunch of scattering behind you. Turn around and see 5 iguanas who just crossed the path behind you. And this beautiful marble carved ship says the adventure continues. And the small markers are the children's graves. The smaller they are, the younger they were when they passed. And that's somebody famous in Key West. Now this one, the broken part of the arch symbolizes a life cut in half or cut too short. And this one, Manuel Cabesa, had the most effect on me. His parents were born in the Spanish Canary Islands. They immigrated to Florida. Manuel also had the nickname as Islamo, the Islander. He also fought in World War I in the Company B of the 105th Engineers. He was honorably discharged. He ended up settling in Key West and became a bar owner with a few other traits. He had a relationship with a biracial woman. That caused the KKK to tar and feather him. In retaliation, Cabeza shot and killed one of the people on Christmas Eve. And the next day, an angry mob removed Cabeza from the jail cell. They lynched him and shot him. It is said that the woman practiced voodoo, and several of the Klansmen responsible did die over the next couple of years. And boy, I hope it was a painful, excruciating deaths for all of these Klansmen. I'm proud of these two for having the courage to love each other. Sad it ended so horribly. And again, just the beautiful crosses in the marble of these. And look, there's an eagle on one. The USS Main Monument on February 15th of 1898, the USS Maine blew up in the Havana Harbor, killing around 260 American sailors. This disaster led the U.S. to declare war on Spain. Some 24 of those casualties are buried in this plot, as well as other Spanish-American War veterans. Civil War earmarkers line the perimeter of the defense. Veterans of other wars were interred here along with 2 British airmen, 1 Brazilian sailor, a woman, a baby, and 5 African-American Civil War sailors. And thank you all of you for your service. As you can see, all of the flags on each of the marble tombstones, and the groundskeepers here do a wonderful job of keeping them all looking perfect. And this is the site of an unknown soldier who lost his life on the USS Main battleship. Los Martyrs de Cuba, or the Martyrs of Cuba. I'm so sorry for my awful pronunciation, but it does mean the Martyrs of Cuba. And basically it is to honor those who have died attempting to free Cuba from the Spanish rule during the 10-year war from 1868 to 1878. The central obelisk commemorates the battles, while the upright tablets at each corner list fallen soldiers. The revolutionary cause resumed in 1895 and succeeded 3 years later. There is even a Cuban consul buried there, Antonio Diaz y Carrasco. That monument is gorgeous. So thank you to Cubans for helping. Now, Sloppy Joe Russell. He is Key West's best-known barkeep and Ernest Hemingway's fishing guide. He is famous for the bar Sloppy Joe's. And this is his site. People love to leave little things there. Beer cans, wine, all kinds of things, little pennies. And these are some carved angels people have as tombstones. They are gorgeous. And that is basically the end. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, I show you a few of the sunsets that I saw while I was in Key West. Each night I was there. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you made it this far, I'm really surprised and pleasantly pleased. Pleased and pleasantly surprised? Whatever. Anyway, thank you all. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all of the YouTubey things. We'll leave you in paradise.